and I am a big believer in reincarnation. I don't know, I'm not pushing any, doctrines on anybody. But sometimes people do come back and we have their essence, but we don't have their spirit because they're not necessarily there anymore, you know. But I am a big believer that the families do stay together, and they do come together in different ways. Maybe the parents who bicker all the time may not come to the child at the same time, but I do believe, yes, they're most likely in the same plane, unless that's not always the case. It really is a spirit by spirit process, where they can miss each other too as well. You know, it just really depends where they are in their growth too as well, but arguments do
Interesting.
continue after death. I will say that. Grudges, man, people hold on to those.
Okay, so those don't go away. Well, getting into some Bravo stuff, I want to start with a
Mhm.
woman name. Her name is, and Irene. You and I were talking before. Like, you do not watch Bravo. And listen, this is what I learned actually from Marianne at Psychic Source. She said there are a third of the people that completely believe in psychics. There's a third that completely don't, and then there's the middle third, and that's the third that is so interesting because those are the ones that have been listening to this show that are starting to get a lot of readings through Psychic Source through this, and they're like, wow, this was so spot on. So Miriam was like, okay, like there's just a third of people. We don't need, everyone's listening, but if you don't believe and you never will, great. And then there's a third that do. It's like the middle third. That's the group that really, to me, that I'm hearing so much positive feedback from. But you don't watch Bravo. You're not into this. You've never watched Bravo. People
No,
do.
the only
That's
reality
okay.
TV I like is like ghost shows. I'm very into, obviously. Yeah.
I prefer someone doesn't watch any Bravo. I highly prefer that just because it's so you can get a clear reading. This is someone who used to be on these shows who isn't anymore, but her name is Teddy. She's still in the world. Her name is Teddy Mellencamp. So, do you want me to give you any more information? Let me just put that out there. Like, what are you getting from Teddy? And then I'll
I've
get into
seen a
some of
lot
what
of
she's going through, but I want to hear what you have to say first.
Immediately, I'm going to throw some cards down with her too as well, because I do feel like we actually are going to go into some like predictions also with her. I don't know why, but I just felt predictions comes up. Obviously, I'm a psychic, so they're going to be like, that's so general. No, like literally, sometimes we're just going to talk about the person. But this, I feel like we're going to go into a little bit of her future too as well. I feel extraordinarily nauseated with her. I feel like impending doom almost in the nature of like my solar plexus. I'm like shaking. I am so scared. And I want to cry because I feel very sick with her. But I like want to throw up. Like I feel, but it's not because of the sickness, it's because of treatment. Like I am like shaking. I know you can see me, but like I'm like trembling. Like I am so afraid of everything. She loved, okay, just in her, God, her nausea. Okay, cool, we got it. Sometimes I like to tell spirit to like stop, like that. I'm empathic, also physical medium, so actually I'll feel the pain of everything. I do feel like she's got something going on here and here. I'm looking at the top of my head. I know we're podcast. What am I talking about? Showing things, but here and here and here feels like scar tissue. So I feel like something going on with the head, but like I'm grappling with the idea that I'm like going to miss out on things. And I'm really, really, really upset about it. I feel like I feel like she's really sick. I feel like she's sicker than people know that she's sick. I feel like she says everything is great and positive, but I don't feel like a person who is going to be like positive about it will be this shaken up. And I feel a lot of heat radiating from like the back of my head down my neck. I know you can hear my voice kind of quivering, but I'm like really, really, really scared. And she's normally it's interesting because I feel like as much as she's in the spotlight, she's private. Like she wants to keep things private. Like she has this different persona for like outside. She wants to come off as confident. I mean, I feel like she's absolutely stunning. I feel like she's overcome a lot, but she definitely had to like try to like get rid of like stigmas that were like attached to her, you know? And now she's facing something that I do feel like she's really worried about, the word terminal, and she's really, really, really afraid. I don't feel like she's well right now. She's really, really sad. I feel like she has this on and off support with like a spouse-esque person, because I don't feel like they're fully truly bonded. I don't feel like they were ever really truly bonded. Like I feel like it was not like for show, but it was like I wanted something to be what it wasn't. And I don't feel like they're a good partnership, but I do feel like this person is coming to steady her hand right now because I feel like they're devastated by this situation. So does that make sense? Like, I'm sorry, I'm just like rambling on, but like,
Yeah, well, she has melanoma that has spread to her brain. So when you
oh,
say brain, she
uh-huh.
has spread, and she just had an operation that they found five tumors on her brain, two of which are removed, the others of which can't be removed. And they just found out that the cancer melanoma, which has spread from the back to the brain, has now also spread to the lungs.
Oh,
So
geez.
I kind of agree with you, having just familiarity with cancer in my life, that things are worse than the general public believes.
I mean, she's trying, but like, I mean, she's really worried. I just feel so much fear with her, you know? I don't know. Uh, I feel like she'd just be classified as someone who's afraid of like, of dying, which is completely understandable. That's a fear that 95% of us face. But when you're faced with that type of mortality, okay, that makes sense because I was feeling like this like warmth down the back of my neck, and that can just show like things spreading. You know what I mean? Like with the cancer. So unfortunately, I'm familiar with cancer too because of my father, who passed away, and just watching it is just an awful disease. So
Right. Like in my experience with cancer, and I'm not a doctor, is like you, of course, I think you remain a hopeful until you're not, until the very end, because what else are you actually supposed to do? Because you're still living. Like she just went to ride a horse. She's very into horseback riding, and she got a lot of public criticism from that. I'm like, I think at this point she should be doing whatever she wants on a daily
that's so
basis.
messed up. I feel like
Yeah.
people I'm like, okay, so I'm like such a hype person. I'm such a hype girl. Like I will hype up. I'm not here to drag anybody down. Like I am such like a hype person. I feel like if she wants to ride a horse, nobody has any business in telling her what she should or should not be doing. Because right now is the time where she's like, I'm gonna live. I'm gonna go explore Spain. I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna, you know what I mean? And I feel like it's very narcissistic of people to be like, well, she should be doing what I would be doing right now, which is no, let her ride the horse. Let her do what she loves. Let her eat the foods that she loves. I feel like that's the one big regret I have for my own father when he died is he wanted teriyaki steak and they're like, no, he can't have it. Why would you, like not let a dying man have teriyaki steak? And I should have
Right.
just snuck it into the hospital and I should have just done it, but at the same time, you're also being like, okay, is he going to get better? I know she's wanting to try to be as positive as possible. And I really would love for her to make a turnaround. But at this moment, empathically, she's struggling with her mortality, you know? So ride the horse. Do it, Teddy. Do it.
Ride the
Go on,
horse.
do it. Go on the boat. Go on the yacht. Do what you're going to do. Like, find it.
Right. I would agree with that. Now, it's funny you mentioned the husband because I have some questions about the husband. So she is married. Now, his name is Edwin. She
Mhm.
was getting a divorce. Like they were in the process of